This is the IELTS listening test. This is the IELTS listening test. You will hear a number of different recordings, and you will have to answer questions on what you hear. There will be time for you to read the instructions and questions, and you will have the chance to check your work. All the recordings will be played once only. The test is in 4 parts. At the end, you will be given 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet. Now turn to Part 1. Part 1. You will hear a phone call between a student and a receptionist about booking a language course abroad. First, you have some time to read questions 1 to 6. Now listen and answer questions 1 to 6.
Good morning. You're speaking with Ella from Global Education Advisors. How may I help you today?
Hi, my name's Jonathan Bell. I found your agency online, and I'm interested in attending a language course this summer, possibly in Spain. I wanted to ask about the options.
Absolutely, Jonathan. We partner with several accredited language schools in Spain. May I ask what your current level of Spanish is?
I'd say I'm an intermediate speaker. I've studied it in school and practiced a bit on my own, but I need to improve my speaking and listening skills.
That's great. Intermediate students have the most flexibility. Now, are you looking for an intensive course or something more relaxed?
Intensive, definitely. I'll have about 3 weeks off from university, and I want to make the most of it.
Got it. We offer a very popular 3-week intensive course in Seville. It's designed for intermediate to upper intermediate learners and includes 20 hours of classroom instruction each week.
Sounds perfect. What are the course dates?
The next available session starts on Monday, July 15th and runs until Friday, August 2nd.
Okay, I think those dates would work. How much does the course cost?
Tuition for the full 3 weeks is €950, which includes course materials, a certificate of completion, and access to the student portal.
Does that include accommodation?
Not in the base price, but we offer several housing options. The most popular is a host family arrangement, where you stay with a local Spanish family. It costs an additional €500 and includes breakfast and dinner every day.
I like the idea of staying with the host family. It'll help me practice the language more.
Exactly. It's also a great way to learn more about Spanish culture and daily life.
How far would the host family live from the school?
Usually within 30 minutes by public transport, and we ensure that host families are close to bus or metro lines.
That's fine. Do you help with travel arrangements?
Yes, we do. We don't book international flights, but we can assist you in finding the best options. For airport transfers in Spain, we offer a pickup service from Seville Airport, which costs €40.
I might go for that, just for convenience.
Sure, we can add that later. Are there any medical conditions or dietary restrictions we should be aware of for the host family placement?
I'm vegetarian, but no allergies or medical issues.
Thanks for letting me know. We'll make sure to place you with a family that can accommodate a vegetarian diet.
That all sounds good so far.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to read questions 7 to 10. Now listen and answer questions 7 to 10.
What's the daily schedule like?
Classes run from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday through Friday. Afternoons are free for self-study, relaxation, or participating in cultural.
That is the end of part 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Part 2. You will hear a manager briefing a group of volunteers about Greenview Arts Center. First, you have some time to read questions 11 to 15. Listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 15.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the Greenview Community Arts Center. I'm Paula Gentry, the program coordinator here, and I'm thrilled to have so many of you joining us for the new term. Some of you are students, some volunteers, and a few will be joining us as part-time assistants. I'll start by giving you a quick overview of the center and your roles here. The Arts Center was founded in 1995 by a group of local artists who wanted to create an accessible and inclusive space for people to learn and share creative skills. It started in a single rented studio, but today we occupy the entire 3-story building we're in now. Each floor has dedicated space for different activities. The ground floor houses our public gallery and reception area. Upstairs on the first floor, you'll find classrooms for drawing, painting, and digital arts. On the top floor, we run our performing arts program, everything from dance to small theater productions. Currently, we offer over 40 classes per week, serving all age groups, from toddlers to retirees. We run seasonal workshops as well, especially during school holidays, and these are usually our busiest periods. Our goal has always been to keep things affordable, so many of our courses are subsidized by local council grants. That's why we ask for a modest materials fee instead of full tuition. If you're volunteering, you may be asked to help with classroom setup, assist instructors, or even guide visitors through the gallery. Every volunteer is required to attend a short orientation workshop, which is held every Friday afternoon in the conference room. You'll receive an email confirmation and be assigned a date this week or next. For those assisting in the gallery space, responsibilities include welcoming guests, maintaining a clean environment, and handling brochure displays. We get around 600 visitors per month on average, and we like them to feel at ease as soon as they enter the space. One important thing to note, if you're ever unsure about anything, whether it's safety procedures or equipment use, ask any of our staff members. They'll be wearing orange lanyards, which makes them easy to spot. Now, we'll break for 10 minutes and then go over the latest feedback from our community and the changes we're making this season.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to read questions 16 to 20. Now, listen and answer questions 16 to 20.
Welcome back. In this section, I'll talk about the community feedback we gathered recently and explain how we're adapting some of our programs in response. Last month, we ran a survey that was emailed to all past and present participants. Out of 520 responses, several recurring points came up. One of the most mentioned areas was studio lighting, especially in the upstairs drawing rooms. People said it was too dim during the late afternoon classes, which made it difficult to work on detailed pieces. In response, we're replacing the overhead bulbs with adjustable LED fixtures that better mimic natural daylight. Another topic raised was parking, particularly during Saturday morning classes. While we can't expand the physical lot, we've partnered with a nearby school to let us use their parking area on weekends. It's just a short walk down Greenhill Road and will nearly double our available parking space. There were also several suggestions regarding class scheduling. Many of our adult learners found it hard to attend weekday afternoon sessions due to work commitments. As a result, we're shifting more courses to evening hours, including our popular Intro to Printmaking and Art for Mindfulness classes. Our website also came up in the feedback. While people appreciated the design, some noted that registration was confusing, especially when signing up multiple family members. So we're simplifying the process. By the end of this month, the registration page will include a family sign-up feature and a filter that allows users to sort classes by day or instructor. And finally, in response to comments about limited access to art supplies, we're launching a new lending system. Participants will be able to borrow sketchpads, charcoal kits, and even easels for home use. The idea is to help students continue practicing without needing to purchase expensive materials. So, to sum up, better lighting, new parking options, evening classes, a friendlier website, and a more flexible supplies system. We're constantly evolving thanks to the suggestions we receive, and we're glad to have you on board as we move into a new term. Now, you'll be split into smaller groups and assigned your roles for the week. If you still have questions, don't hesitate to stop by the front desk.
That is the end of part 2. You have half a minute to check your answers. Part 3. A student is meeting his professor to discuss a final year dissertation project in the field of environmental science. Listen to their conversation and answer the questions. First, you now have some time to read questions 21 to 25. Now, listen and answer questions 21 to 25.
Good afternoon. Julia. Come in. Have a seat. I've had a chance to skim your dissertation proposal. It's looking promising. How are you feeling about it?
Honestly, a little nervous, but excited too. I've refined my topic to focus on how urban green spaces influence mental well-being in city residents. I am planning to use a case study approach, focusing on 3 parks in the city.
That is a very timely topic, with more attention on mental health and sustainability. It ticks a lot of boxes. Have you finalized your research questions?
Sort of. My main one is, how does the design and accessibility of urban green spaces affect psychological well-being in urban populations? Then, I have to sub-questions around usage patterns and public perceptions.
Excellent. And how do you plan to collect your data?
I want to use a mix of methods first. A survey distributed to regular park visitors. And second, structured observations in each park. I am also considering a short set of interviews with city planners. But I am not sure if I'll have time.
The combination of survey and observation sounds good and manageable. The interviews would add depth, but make sure they don't overwhelm your timeline. Speaking of which, have you mapped out your schedule?
Yes. I've created a rough timeline. This month I'll be finalizing my literature review. In the first half of next month, I'll conduct surveys and observations. and then ILL spend the last few weeks analyzing data and writing.
That is quite tight but doable if you stay disciplined. One thing I'd suggest, start designing your survey now. Pilot it early to catch any confusing questions.
That's a good idea. ILL ask a few friends to take it before I distribute it widely.
Perfect. Also, how are you planning to analyze the data?
ILL use descriptive statistics for the survey results. And for the observational data, ILL code behaviors using a checklist. I want to show how often people are engaging in relaxing or social activities in each park.
Makes sense. You might also consider cross-tabulating age or gender with types of activities. It could reveal useful patterns.
True. IHADNT thought about that. ILL see if the data allows for that.
And for your literature review, what's your focus?
I am concentrating on studies linking green space exposure to mental health benefits. There's a lot out there, some focus on stress reduction, others on community cohesion.
Be careful not to just summarize articles. Try to identify themes, disagreements, and gaps in the research.
ILL keep that in mind. One thing I am unsure about is referencing style. I've seen both Harvard and APA used in environmental science.
For this dissertation, the department requires Harvard referencing. Be consistent, and make sure your reference list is complete and alphabetized.
Got it. ILL use referencing software to help manage it.
Good call. And Julia, just a note, don't underestimate how long the final editing will take. Leave at least a few days for polishing and proofreading.
Yes. I've left 3 full days at the end just for that. ILL also ask a friend to read it through once.
Excellent. Lastly, what title are you thinking of using?
Right now it's Green Relief. Investigating the psychological impacts of urban parks on city dwellers. Do you think it's too informal?
Actually, it is quite catchy. Maybe just add a subtitle for clarity, like a case study of 3 urban green spaces in Brighton.
Will do. Thanks.
Before you hear the rest of the conversation, you have some time to read questions 26 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 26 to 30.
Now, for the presentation part of the dissertation, have you thought about how you'll structure that?
Yes. I am planning a 10-minute presentation, starting with background context, then research questions, followed by methodology and key findings.
That is a good structure. Remember to keep slides simple. Visuals are more powerful than blocks of text.
Absolutely. ILL use a few charts from the survey results, maybe a photo or 2 from each park, and a summary table at the end.
Great. And how are you planning to start your presentation?
I thought I'd open with a short quote from a recent WHO report on mental health and the urban environment. It adds authority and sets the stage.
Smart move. Just make sure to cite it properly on the slide.
I will. Do you think I should include one theoretical framework?
Yes. Maybe consider using attention restoration theory. It is widely cited in work on green space and mental well-being.
I came across that in one of the journals. ILL read up more and include it in my rationale.
Excellent. And make sure you're ready for questions after the presentation. You'll likely be asked about your methodology choices.
I've prepared a few possible questions already. ILL rehearse with a friend to practice responding.
Perfect. Last thing, don't forget to cite any data sources you use, especially if you include government statistics.
I've got a slide dedicated to data and visual source citations. It's mostly from local council databases and a couple of national health surveys.
That's everything then. You're on the right track. Just keep to your plan and stay flexible in case anything unexpected comes up.
Thank you, Professor Ellis. I feel much more confident now.
You're welcome. Looking forward to reading your final submission.
That is the end of part 3. Now you have 30 seconds to check your answers. Part 4. You will hear a seminar about the psychology of color. Listen to the seminar and answer the questions. First, you have some time to read questions 31 to 40. Listen and answer questions 31 to 40.
If you've ever walked into a room and instantly felt more relaxed, or more alert, you've probably experienced the psychological effects of color. While color may seem like a matter of aesthetic preference, research in psychology suggests that it plays a powerful role in shaping our emotions, behaviors, and even decision-making. Today, we'll explore how color perception works, how different colors influence the mind, and how this knowledge is used in industries like marketing, design, and healthcare. To begin, let's quickly review the science behind color perception. Color is not a property of objects themselves but a result of how our brains interpret different wavelengths of light. When light hits an object, some wavelengths are absorbed, and others are reflected. The reflected wavelengths enter our eyes and stimulate photoreceptor cells, specifically, cones, in the retina. These cells send signals to the brain, which interprets the information as color. Humans typically have 3 types of cones, each sensitive to different parts of the visible spectrum: red, green, and blue. This trichromatic system allows us to perceive millions of colors through combinations of these 3. However, not everyone experiences color in the same way. People with color blindness, often caused by a genetic condition, have reduced ability to distinguish certain hues, most commonly red and green. Now let's consider the psychological impact of color. One of the most researched aspects is the way color influences emotion. Certain colors are known to evoke consistent emotional responses. For instance, blue is often associated with calmness, trust, and professionalism. It's frequently used in corporate branding and medical environments because it creates a sense of security and stability. In contrast, red is a color that evokes intensity. It's linked to passion, urgency, and sometimes aggression. Studies have shown that red can raise heart rate and even increase adrenaline production. That's why it's commonly used in warning signs and emergency indicators. Red is also frequently used in sales and marketing campaigns where urgency is important. Think of limited time offers, or clearance sales, highlighted in red. Yellow tends to be associated with energy and optimism. It captures attention quickly and is often used in advertising for children's products. However, too much yellow, especially in interior design, has been linked to irritability and anxiety. It's a color that works well in small doses or when balanced with cooler tones. Another interesting color is green, which is often linked to nature, growth, and renewal. Green has been found to reduce stress and improve focus, which is why it's frequently used in environments like schools, hospitals, and libraries. In fact, some studies suggest that even brief exposure to green environments, whether real or virtual, can improve cognitive performance. Black, white, and gray, while not technically colors in the spectrum, also have strong psychological effects. Black is associated with authority, elegance, and formality, but it can also be linked to mourning or negativity. White conveys cleanliness, simplicity, and purity, common in minimalist design and medical settings. Gray is often seen as neutral or balanced but can also evoke feelings of indecision or dullness if overused. Now, how is all this applied in the real world? Let's start with marketing and branding. Companies carefully choose colors to reflect their values and influence customer behavior. For example, fast food chains often use red and yellow in their logos and interiors because these colors are thought to stimulate appetite and promote quick decision-making. In contrast, luxury brands often use black, gold, or silver to communicate sophistication and exclusivity. Retailers also use color to affect consumer behavior. Studies have shown that warm colors near product displays can encourage impulse buying, while cooler tones promote longer browsing times. Packaging design also leverages color psychology. Products marketed as environmentally friendly often use green tones, while health-focused items may use white to imply cleanliness and purity. In interior design, color selection can dramatically affect how people feel and function in a space. Hospitals use pastel blues and greens to promote healing and relaxation, while schools often use brighter colors to energize students. Office spaces increasingly incorporate carefully chosen color schemes to boost productivity and morale. For example, blue is used to stimulate mental clarity, while green helps with concentration and reduced eye strain. In sports psychology, color plays a surprisingly measurable role. Athletes wearing red uniforms, for instance, have been found to win more often in combat sports like boxing and wrestling. Some researchers believe this is due to red being perceived as a signal of dominance or aggression, which can influence both competitors and referees subconsciously. Color also influences memory and attention. Red, because of its intensity, can help draw focus to important information, which is why it's used in textbooks and safety signage. However, it may also induce anxiety in high-stakes situations. Blue, while calming, may not be as effective in grabbing attention but is helpful for tasks that require creativity and complex thinking. It's important to remember that cultural differences affect how colors are interpreted. In Western cultures, white is often worn at weddings and symbolizes purity. However, in some East Asian cultures, white is associated with funerals and mourning. Similarly, red is a symbol of luck and celebration in China, whereas in other cultures it may be seen as aggressive or alarming. This is particularly important for global companies or multicultural settings, where the same color might convey different meanings. Modern technology is also transforming how we interact with color. With the rise of digital media, color is now carefully calibrated for screens and devices. Designers must consider how colors appear across different lighting conditions, display types, and user preferences, including accessibility for colorblind users. Tools now exist that automatically adjust contrast and hue for readability and visual comfort. In healthcare, color therapy is a complementary treatment used by some practitioners to promote healing. Although it remains controversial in mainstream medicine, proponents argue that exposure to specific colors can influence mood, energy, and even immune function. For example, blue light is used to treat seasonal affective disorder, while red light has been explored for wound healing and skin treatments.
That is the end of part 4. You have now 30 seconds to check your answers. You have now 10 minutes to transfer your answers to an answer sheet.